morning I woke up to a video on my feed from Asmongold reacting to a channel called Pata Plays called The Rise and Fall of Gaming Journalism, discussing why gaming journalists are no longer trusted in the industry and how they are losing credibility as time goes on. And wouldn't you know it, just like 20 minutes later, do I get tagged by Jay Viper on Twitter that says, "Hey, Smash, did you see that Jeff Grubb looks to be stealing your story here?" Saying, "Hey, HJR with a pen, next time you write an article on PC Gamer, how about giving proper credit? Smash JT had the Corinne Busche news long before Jeff Grubb did. Video and post were up, was even on Hypnocast from Real Hypnotic before Grubb posting on X. Grummz even had the departing email." So now we have a story where Jeff Grubb is apparently taking credit for a source that me and Grummz had worked with to get this story right, working tirelessly for days to make sure that we got it right before we went public with it, just to be swooped up by Jeff Grubb and take full credit for it. And then we see mainstream media and games journalism give Jeff Grubb full credit because this is what they always do. What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of Smash JT. And it would appear that Jeff Grubb has straight up stolen our story from Grummz and myself, together working tirelessly to put it together and just swooping in, taking credit for it, and then all of his journal buddies parroting the idea all over their websites, from Eurogamer, VG247, IGN, multiple different outlets in major sources, all now sourcing Jeff Grubb for a story that he stole. Yeah, I really don't think this is going to help the perception of mainstream games media. Hit that subscribe, give me a like, and check out smashjt.com for the full article breaking down how Jeff Grubb basically straight up stole our story and now running with it and owning the bad guy look because he thinks it's a joke now. The journalist, as these media outlets are calling him, who straight up acknowledges that he took this story and is basically dancing on us because he doesn't like us. He already has me blocked and he doesn't think I'm important enough. But joke's on him because we are winning, and this is once again a terrible look for Jeff Grubb. Although people like this probably love just being talked about, so what do I know? This is all getting pretty gross. Trust in mainstream games journalism is at an all-time low and somehow seemingly still plummeting further every day that passes. Jeff Grubb has provided everyone with yet another glaring example of why the trust has been eroding so badly. Hours after Grummz and I broke the news on X and followed up with an article on smashjt.com and a video on my YouTube channel detailing the departure of Corinne Busche, the former director of Dragon Age the Veilguard from BioWare, Jeff Grubb conveniently swooped in to pass the scoop off as it was his own and common knowledge, and he's just giving his take on it because, yeah, she's gone, but I'm just going to comment on this, not going to source anyone, quote tweet them, reference them, even though he got the information from someone else. 4+ hours after we broke the story, Grubb tweeted, "Corinne Busche, director of Dragon Age, is really leaving BioWare, but I don't think EA is closing BioWare Edmonton. Was told there's nothing solid about that part of the rumor." Okay, what rumor? Like, this was a story that we broke. And if it's a story that you're referencing and not just a generic hearsay coming from nowhere rumor, why wouldn't you reference the people who brought it up? It's very curious. It's almost like you don't want people to get any kind of acknowledgement in the community. This was a report that Grummz and I have been working tirelessly on for days to get it right. We knew this was huge news, and if true, the credibility was paramount in the industry to make sure we got it right. So we didn't just go blabbering about it like, "Oh, I heard this is happening and this might be happening." No, we wanted to make sure we corroborated it with our sources, the insiders that work there, to make sure this is all true before we bring it to you guys. You know, a lot of work behind the scenes that you don't see, that goes into a lot of the stuff that I do, but at some point, you gotta start wondering if these people don't understand how much work actually goes on behind the scenes between all these videos. Grubb continued, "And thanks to everyone who is pointing out that reporting like this is what made me Leaker of the Year on r/gaming leaks and rumors." Basically patting himself on the back that he's the one that came up with this rumor now? Like, he sourced it as a generic rumor, and now he's saying that he's the person that gets Leaker of the Year because he reports on the rumor? I'm very confused at what kind of credit he's even trying to take here. But it gets better, because he continues and says, okay, relax. Lots of you are going to throw the word hero around, and while I agree that you wouldn't have ever learned about this story without me, I'll settle for role model to all people. And clearly he's embracing the bad guy aspect here, the angle of, yeah, I know that I stole this story, I know that I'm getting all the credit for it, and all the mainstream journalist media out there. What are you going to do about it? Well, Jeff, I'm going to make a video about it and completely expose you. I said on Twitter, breaking, Jeff Grubb appears to have straight up stolen Grummz and Smash JT exclusive BioWare Corinne Busche story hours after we broke it, and mainstream media mafia gives him credit for the scoop. These people are real pieces of work. This is why no one trusts mainstream anymore. Zero integrity, zero credibility, zero accountability. Publications like Eurogamer, PC Gamer, VG247, IGN, and so many others originally credited Grubbz as a source, completely ignoring the hard work and verified sourcing done by Grummz and myself in the days leading up to it. Eventually, the game of telephone turns into everyone just ending up sourcing Eurogamer instead of having any kind of actual source. And this situation is actually particularly fascinating to see it happen in real time, how they have the wrong source, they all parrot that wrong source, and then the other journals come in and start parroting the sources of the people that reported on the source, and this is all the truth and how it gets out there from these people, making sure they pat each other on the back, instead of, I don't know, getting the truth out there, who actually did the work on this, who brought it to everyone. Nah, that's not important. And hey, they have a source. You can't get mad at them because look, they sourced something. It all kicked off with Eurogamer stating, whispers of her exit began circulating online last night. What? Whispers of her exiting? Circulating? How about, hey, Smash JT and Grummz provided information from their sources and actual linked documents proving their case here. You want to report on that, Eurogamer? Or do you have a bias against YouTubers and people on Twitter that you don't like, so that you just want to make it a blanket statement that it's just, hey, it's rumors, generic rumors out there from generic people, and we're going to report on this because, it seems likely. And were first confirmed by journalist Jeff Grubb. No, they weren't. That's wrong, Eurogamer. Are you going to update your article and fix this? I'm not going to hold my breath. Eurogamer can also confirm Busche is leaving BioWare. Hey, congratulations, Eurogamer. I already confirmed that. I guess it's nice that you confirmed it after I confirmed it and after Grummz confirmed it. You want to take credit for confirming it now? Okay, you go do your thing. Eurogamer understands BioWare itself is otherwise unaffected by any other changes, contrary to the rumor, which is referencing how BioWare Edmonton may be shutting down in February of 2025, which I reported on in my previous video from my source directly, talking about how they are very close to what's happening at BioWare, and that is the current sentiment at the office right now. And I am just the messenger letting you guys know what's happening right there. Whereas these mainstream outlets want to push a narrative and make you believe whatever the hell they say. But going back to how Eurogamer references it as the rumor without actually saying where they heard that from tells me they know exactly where it came from and are willfully ignoring it because they don't want to give credit to people they don't like. And I gotta be honest, this isn't about being friends behind the scenes or not liking people behind the scenes. It's about getting the story correct. That's what it should be all about. But then we have PC Gamer with the original story. Dragon Age the Veilguard's game director Corinne Busche is said to be leaving BioWare after almost 2 decades at the company, according to multiple sources, which I guess would be me and Grummz. I guess that's, if you want to say multiple sources and that's what you're talking about, okay. But why would you not name us unless you don't want us getting attention? It's just very curious. The first confirmation comes from journalist Jeff Grubb. What? What? What kind of information, sources, receipts did he bring? Nothing. All he was doing was commenting on, in his words, the rumor, which was literally confirmed by Grummz and me, but whatever, who wrote in a post on X that Corinne Busche, director of Dragon Age, really is leaving BioWare, and goes on to say the rest of it. Then they sourced Eurogamer, saying, Eurogamer later confirmed the departure in a report, stating BioWare itself is otherwise unaffected by any changes contrary to the rumor. I've also reached out to BioWare for comment. and I'll update this article if I receive a response. Okay, well, I hope you take this as a response to say, update your article, remove Jeff Grubb from any mention of it, because he has nothing to do with the story, and put the actual sources in there. But again, not holding my breath. Then we got VG247 that said, Dragon Age the Veilguard game director Corinne Busche is reportedly leaving BioWare, having spent a total of 18 years at publisher EA working on various titles. This is according to Giant Bomb's Jeff Grubb, whose confirmation of Busche leaving has since been corroborated by Eurogamer. Look at how these people operate. They literally lifted a story and now created the story on their own, built their own story up on their house of cards, and they're like, yep, this is a story, we're running with it. We don't need those independent creators out there. We'll just steal the information and manipulate it and source somebody that we're buddies with or we've trusted in the past, and we won't make any mention of where it came from or who said it first, and move forward like nobody even knows. Then we got Games Radar saying Busche is now reportedly departing from BioWare following her 18-year-long career at EA, which, by the way, just a quick trend here that I've noticed, they all say basically the same thing. It almost feels like everyone's just taking the Eurogamer article and pasting it into ChatGPT and saying, hey, make this sound different so I can spit it out on my article. Like, they didn't even put any work into this. They all parrot the wrong idea, the wrong source, and nobody cares about any accountability here. Where she's worked as both a designer and design director on various entries within the Sims series, including The Sims 4, the news was initially revealed by journalist Jeff Grubb in an online post and later confirmed by Eurogamer. No, it wasn't. Again, these people are either completely stuck in their own echo chamber or willfully ignorant of the truth. Either way, it's not a great look for the actual truth in journalism. The Gamer reports first emerged about the exit last night and were confirmed today by Jeff Grubb. Corinne Busche has reportedly left BioWare. Then we got GameIndustry.biz sources their own sister site instead of Jeff Grubb. So now it's moved on from Jeff Grubb as the source to now Eurogamer's the source. It's like, can you guys at least do a little bit of work? I'm begging you. Dragon Age the Veilguard director Corinne Busche has reportedly left BioWare. According to our sister site, Eurogamer, Busche recently departed from the studio. GameIndustry.biz has reached out to blah, 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 blah. Then we got IGN now referencing Eurogamer. The game of telephone continues, and now Eurogamer, like I said, has become the source of truth. Eurogamer reported that Busche, who was game director on Dragon Age the Veilguard from February 2022 to its launch last year, is set to leave the studio in the coming weeks. IGN has asked EA for comment. Then the same thing with Push Square. Dragon Age the Veilguard game director Corinne Busche is leaving BioWare after 18 years, blah, 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 as Eurogamer reports. So as you can see here, it starts out with Eurogamer sourcing the wrong person because most likely, my assumption would be, there's some sort of buddy-buddy connection behind the scenes where they're trying to prop people up that they're close with, they're friends with behind the scenes and say, sure, we'll just give credit to this guy because the credibility goes a long way in this industry. And this is the problem. When you start sourcing the wrong people because they're your buddies, your own credibility starts falling. And we have to be clear here. Grubb didn't corroborate the story, provide sources, or even credit the original reporting. Those of us in the know have witnessed the obvious connections in mainstream games journalism behind the scenes and how they create narratives how they want them to look and make themselves look far more important than they really are. It's one big club, and we're not in it. Grubb opted for the classic mainstream move, cherry-picking the narrative to fit his agenda while conveniently sidelining any of the actual sources doing the real legwork behind the scenes. Even more infuriating, Grubb has me blocked on Twitter, meaning that he knew exactly where the information was coming from, but decided, nah, it's way easier to pretend that I didn't exist so he could try to take credit in the first place for it. And here's the other thing. Jeff Grubb isn't the biggest fan of me because I talked about this in a different video, and from that he blocked me. So obviously he doesn't have the best outlook and opinion of me. I get that. I don't expect everyone to love me, but it doesn't matter about who you like and who you don't like. It matters about getting it right. That's at the end of the day what people care about. People don't care about the behind the scenes, who hates each other, who likes each other, who's good friends, who's not. We're getting into some weird zone that has nothing to do with actually reporting the information to the people, which at the end of the day is all it's about. But the bigger problem here is how the mainstream gaming outlets seemingly all fell in line behind Grubb's tweet, referencing him or Eurogamer as the story's primary source, despite him lacking any kind of evidence, information, or original reporting. The fact that these outlets didn't even attempt to acknowledge Grummz' initial tweet or my subsequent article and video are a much deeper issue. The cozy echo chamber designed to protect their own while ignoring independent creators. This is why no one trusts mainstream journalism, and this is why they keep failing. The mafia-like behavior ensures that the same names get credit all the time, no matter who is undeserving or who is. It's independent journalists that are silenced and ignored, no matter how hard they work behind the scenes. It's a blatant attempt to gatekeep the industry and control the narrative. But here's the thing, gamers aren't buying it anymore, and they haven't been for a very long time. And we're winning. This situation is Exhibit A as to why mainstream games journalism is completely crumbling. Publications that once long ago prided themselves on investigative work have now devolved into glorified PR outlets for AAA studios. They're prioritizing clicks and narratives over the truth. Meanwhile, real gamers on platforms like YouTube and Twitter and even their own websites are the ones doing the actual work, digging deep, asking tough questions, and delivering accurate information without corporate filters. And it's something I'd like to think that all these mainstream journals, when they see their entire careers burning to the ground, would take a look over the fence and say, what are they doing that's working? And why are people always being drawn over to them instead of us, and say, maybe it has something to do with being honest with your audience. The original report started from Grummz and myself, where Grummz posted on Twitter, leak. Corinne Busche, game director of Dragon Age the Veilguard, has left BioWare and EA. BioWare Edmonton, the Veilguard studio, to be shuttered. BioWare Dragon Age. The farewell email was shared with me, and I verified her leaving with Smash JT's contact at EA/BioWare. The rumor that goes with this is that the Edmonton offices of BioWare will be shuttered in February, just before EA Town Hall for investors and gamers. It's sad that after completely destroying the game with DEI transcars and terrible characters and writing, that the game director responsible for it all bails and leaves everyone holding the bag. These people often fail upwards though, as woke studio system bent on promoting activists instead of great developers. Sad. This is our first collab. Check out JT's video on it in the reply for more details, and then he links the actual sources that we verified, emails, documents, information directly from Corinne Busche and people that are connected at BioWare that know this information. Why wouldn't Eurogamer source this? Why wouldn't they build an article about this? Maybe they didn't know. Maybe they didn't see it. Maybe they're just buddy-buddy with Jeff Grubb and they didn't know this even existed. But if that's the case, Jeff Grubb's tweet just says rumors are referenced. He didn't even say anything about anything. Why would they corroborate and make this whole article out if they didn't actually see the information? And oh, by the way, don't even try to tell me that they don't know who Grummz is, because they all know who Grummz is. It's a very small world in the gaming industry, and everybody in it knows everybody. This isn't just about taking credit. It's far more about trust. When mainstream journalists take credit for the hard work of independent creators without acknowledging the actual sources and what they've done to get to the conclusions they have, they once again reinforce the belief that their industry is rotten completely to the core. Gamers see through all these lies though, which is why they keep turning to independent creators and people on YouTube, their own websites, or on Twitter, following people they trust and backing them up with the sources. It's exactly why people like Jeff Grubb continue to fail, and why all these mainstream media sources like Eurogamer, VG247, the Push Square, like you name them, they all parrot each other's articles. They don't even put work into any journalism anymore. They just pump it out to make the money, as much money as they can, as fast as possible, and move on, churn and burn to the next article. It's actually kind of, when you take a step back, a sad state of affairs that the industry's in. But hey, that's only if you pay attention to them. Anyways, I'm going to leave it there. If you guys want more information, check out smashjt.com for the full article. If you appreciate what I'm doing and want to support the channel, please consider hitting that join button. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, you stay smashing.
Gaming journalism isn't what it once was.
No, it's not.
In fact, just mentioning the words gaming journalism these days seems to only provoke negative reactions.
Nobody
This
likes
is how
them.
badly these companies have damaged their own reputation.
Yeah.
Almost every week, I see the same sentence pop up somewhere online that says, remember, you don't hate gaming journalists enough.
It's bad.